Welcome back, everybody. It is leg day and I'm joined by a very special guest, my mum. And today we're going to be training legs. I'm going to take you through my workout. I'm going to show you guys how I modify things to meet my mum's preferences and her goals, because her goals are a little bit different to mine. She doesn't want to get as big as possible, I don't think. No. Yeah, no.
As slim as possible.
As slim and as toned is her favourite word. She wants really toned arms. So we're going to do leg day, which has nothing to do with arms. But I'm going to show you guys how we change things up to make it a little bit more accessible and still progressive for her to reach her goals.
Pushbacks, is it? Okay.
Pushbacks. Perfect, good. Exercise 1, I'm doing good mornings with the barbell, and my mum is doing trap bar pushbacks, technically Romanian deadlifts, but the word pushback is a better name. Anyway, the goal here is something for the posterior chain, working on a hinge motion, and I'm using the good morning because I want to limit the amount of weight that I end up using, because this is the start of a training block for me. And I also want to build up my erector strength, which you're going to get a little bit more of from the good morning due to where the bar's placed, as opposed to a Romanian deadlift with the bar or handles in front of you. And I want to build that strength when I go into deadlift patterns in the next couple of phases of training. So the reason why I'm giving mum an RDL instead is because it's an easier exercise to master. There's a lot less skill involved. She's going to work the exact same muscles, and she doesn't have the goals that I have of progressing into these other lifts and building up all this kind of stuff down the road. She's not as advanced as me, so she doesn't need as advanced a progression to be working towards. So for her, we're just doing a RDL, very easy exercise, hinging the hips back, up and down. All right, what you're going to do next, stand over here. So what I want you to do is just stand with your feet roughly comfortable width apart. You're going to come up onto your tiptoes and then reach up as high as you can. You're going to hold that position for about 3 to 5 seconds, just get your bearings. Yep. Then from there, you're going to very quickly drop down to your heels and swing your arms down behind you. Just to about this position here.
Right.
And then just come up, then just stand up. Don't jump at all. So reach up very high, high as you can. Hold that position, get your balance, and then when you're ready, take your time with that. When you're ready, drop down, heels to the ground. But bend your knees as well.
Bend knees.
Yeah, imagine doing this is a land.
Like
this is a landing drill. So stand up tall on your toes again. And then when you're ready, drop down. Good, perfect, up again. Keep your chest a little bit higher, so don't bend forwards as much when you come down. Stay tall. Get your balance, take your time there. And then drop down. You forgot your knees.
Forgot knees. Okay, try again.
So there's a couple of things that are really important when you're looking at dealing with older adults like my mum, but also dealing with maybe people who are newer to training as well. And the first most important one is they tend to struggle with being able to push maximally and activate all their motor units and use all their muscles during a set as efficiently as possible. The other thing that tends to be an issue more for the older adults is they have these risks of falling and not being able to just move explosively as well. So to help combat this, we're incorporating some plyometric exercises. Now, I've done a little bit of plyometric with mum in the past, but it's been a little while since we've trained together. So we're doing some introductory progressive drills all over again from the very start. So you're going to see us doing some landing drills where I'm getting her to reach as far as she can overhead and then drop down into an athletic position. You can see how this very easily progresses into a vertical leap or any other kind of plyometric exercise. The key with this is making sure we're not doing it under any fatigued conditions. So she's coming into it after the Romanian deadlifts or the pushbacks, but I'm giving her adequate rest before doing that to make sure that she's getting enough time to focus on the skill of the exercise and using the right muscles correctly when going through that movement pattern. Right now what you're doing is when you drop down, you do this with your body, and from here to here isn't really helping you at all. Instead, I'll just say, just stop there. Just stop. Don't need to come down as low. So keep your body a little bit taller. Okay? We'll start with that first. So reach up, body stays tall, drop down. Yeah, just like that. That's it.
Hands.
And hands, You can use your hands to sort of like, almost imagine doing that ski erg where you rip yourself down. Imagine you've got like a couple of eggs and you're trying to smash those eggs into the ground. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Do that again. Think eggs.
Yeah.
Go. Eggs. Nice. Body a bit taller. You jigged forward a little bit too much then. Go. Eggs. That's it. Perfect. Perfect. Do that again. Body tall.
Oops.
Eggs. Good. One more. Take your time. Eggs. Good. Relax.
Okay.
Relax. Good. All right. Here again. Cool. So it's 1 minute, just light and easy, and then when you're ready, we'll push hard. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hard as you can. There. Good. Good. 170, 196, 220, 250, 285 again.
99.
Get it. Yeah. Why'd you stop? Why'd you stop?
Oh, it's not time yet.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh, that was really good.
Try again, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe could have got the 320. Who
Yeah,
knows?
315. Good. Relax, relax.
Bukan look. You're happy for Mama as well. You're all so excited.
The other thing we're doing is we're also adding in some maximal sprints on the air bike, which is extremely low skill and something where you can just focus on pushing as hard as you can. And yes, she's going to get some benefits from a cardiovascular perspective, but the real reason why I'm doing this is to help her again push as maximally as possible and get as much as she can out of her muscles in one short burst of time, which will carry over to each one of her subsequent sets on the pushbacks and all the other exercises that she does in the gym, and long term with the whole skill acquisition of being able to recruit muscle fibers, push through fatigue, and push maximally. Harder, push your legs. Get 300. Oh, keep going, keep going, keep going. 299, get over 300. That's it, that's it, that's it. Rest.
Just one
Rest.
shot.
Just. Go to 299.
Yeah.
299. Rest. Go a longer rest this time.
My turn to cut you.
Keep this 10.
Good look.
So one little tidbit on this is we're only doing 20-second max intervals, not 30 seconds or a minute or anything like that, because when you're looking at it from an energy systems perspective, doing things for 30 seconds or more is going to be more like reaching maximal exhaustion, whereas if we keep things more towards 10 to 20 seconds, there's kind of like that sweet spot where you can push really, really hard, but you aren't going to accumulate a ton of fatigue between each set. Remember, the goal here for Mum is to help her with the skill of pushing as hard as she can, and even then you can see from the first set we did, she did 315 watts, and she could have gone a bit harder, but she got too excited and forgot what she was doing. And then the next two sets, she went down a little bit to about 270 or so. So there is still some fatigue that's carrying over between each set, but that will improve as her aerobic conditioning improves as well. Last week, I didn't record this, but she did the same thing, and she only got to around 175 watts. So already between each week, there is a big improvement in her ability to push maximally and get that high range.
Good look.
Exercise number 2, we are doing single leg presses. So I'm doing this more for quads than for glutes. So I'm taking a leaf out of Dr. Mike Israel's book and the whole team Full ROM people, and I'm adjusting my setup here to allow me to get a lot more range of motion into knee flexion. So I've got an extra pad here, and I've got the seat set as far back as possible, and an extra booster seat here, because this allows me to reach a point where I'm getting maximal knee flexion. You'll see I'm also using lifting shoes as well on this to allow for that extra knee range of motion. Now, if I didn't have this set up at all, I could still get a full range at the hip joint where I'd be getting a lot more through my glutes and my adductors. I'm still getting that kind of range, but having these extra little adjustments here allows me to get that extra little bit of knee flexion, which stretches out the quads. For me, I'm doing this to accumulate a little bit more volume for hypertrophy goals. For Mum, what she's doing instead is she's doing walking lunges, because for her what she needs to build up a little bit more of is coordination and get some of those conditioning benefits as well for having to move her body weight. I need those benefits too, but for my goals right now, I'm going to be really focusing on something like a leg press to add in more of that volume for hypertrophy. I'm doing this single leg as opposed to double leg, similar to the good morning, just as a way to limit the amount of overall weight I end up using to help me reach those stimulatory sets a little bit earlier, so I can focus more on getting that volume in, getting that conditioning in, and building up to more heavier double leg exercises later on in future phases. So one thing I noticed with Mum here was when she was getting tired, she started to dip forwards a little bit when she was coming out of the bottom. And I kept having to cue her to stay a little bit more upright. What we're doing here, so having to cue her, is giving her a little bit of an anterior load here, which does make it a bit more challenging for one thing, which is not exactly the goal, but this anterior load is going to force her to pull her body a little bit more upright, because subconsciously what's going to happen here is if she lets her body dip forward and she has the weight in hand, it's going to pull her forward and she'll topple over forwards. Like she won't do a somersault, but she instinctively won't want to drop forward, and it'll make it harder for her just from that. Let's go again. So you can imagine contrasting this with if I had the exact same weight, the same 5 kilos, but she held it by her sides or on her back, she may be more prone to dipping forward still. But this way, having it forwards, it just is a quick little trick to help take away a lot of the extra cueing and reminders you have to keep reminding yourself of when you're doing this, especially under fatigue conditions. I like picking implements and tools that take a lot of the thought process out of lifting. Last exercise, and before we get here, I just want to quickly mention that if you want to follow along with what I'm doing with my personal programming, or if you want to follow any of the programs that I've written for a variety of goals and experiences and training backgrounds and gym availabilities, be sure to check out my training and coaching platform, Ganbaru Method. This gives you access to all of my programs and all of my nutrition and all of my education, all that really cool stuff. There is a no obligation free trial link in the description below, so go check that out. Okay, so the final exercise today, I am doing barbell squats. Again, I'm using a heel elevation here. I'm doing this with a very, very upright torso and a lot of knee flexion. I'm trying to get as much knee bend as possible, again, to really bias more and more of those quads. Now, typically people will be doing something like a barbell squat as their first exercise in a workout. I'm not doing that. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but again, just like the general theme of this workout and this whole phase of training for me, I like doing back-loaded exercises where I do the compound stuff and the harder stuff towards the end of the workout to limit how much weight I end up using without necessarily compromising on the overall stimulus that I'm going to be getting. As I go into future blocks of training and things get harder and harder and I get more conditioned and I start making more progress, I will pull these exercises more towards the start of the training cycle, start of the workouts. But for now, I'm able to get a very good stimulus because I'm quite deconditioned, relatively speaking, and I can use a lot less weight than I normally would and get more out of it. For Mum, we aren't doing barbell squats because of, again, the skill involved, and she doesn't care about doing barbell squats, and neither do I, to be honest. But what we're doing for her is we're getting her on the pendulum squat instead. We're able to take her through a full range of motion at the knee joint and take her through a little bit more volume and help her push a little bit harder and more maximally, again, to help teach that skill for her of pushing as hard as she physically can in one very safe environment, such as the pendulum squat. If we didn't have this available, we do something like a leg press instead with a similar kind of rep range, just really focusing on pushing her as hard as possible. Push up. Yes, get it. Finish. Good, yes. Nice.
Finish.
Set one. She's walked as far away as possible from the pendulum squat. There's one more set to go. We're just going to get 6, okay?
Okay.
Just 6, make them really strong and powerful.
Okay.
Take it slow, hold your breath at the bottom and push up hard. Oh, you breathed out there. Big breath in.
Okay.
Hold it up. Yes, good. Again. Push up. Yes, good. Again. You got it. Jump. Good. 2 more. 2 more, Mum. Up. Yes. Last one. Really strong, really strong. Up. Oh, that wasn't low enough. Down. Keep going. Up. That's it. Nice.
Phew. Made it.
Made it. All right, so we have finished training legs, but Mum wanted to do a little bit more upper body work just because we didn't do any today, and she's got to get those toned arms. She's working hard at that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's workout with my mum. If you want to see more of my mum, drop a comment down below to let her know. I don't think she reads the comments, but in case she is, watch your language. Anyway, see you guys next time.